Hello and welcome to Paydirt TV. I'm Dominic Piper. Today I'm joined by James Wilson, Chief Executive Officer of Alchemy Resources. James, thanks for coming along.
Thanks, Tom. It's great to be here.
James, looking at the company portfolio, it's pretty stacked. You've got plenty of projects here in WA and then also in New South Wales. But I was particularly interested looking at the presentation in this Lake Rebecca project you've got. You're sandwiched in between some pretty heavy hitters, and obviously we've seen a little bit of corporate activity in recent weeks. Can you tell me a little bit about the project?
Yeah, it's a great position to be in. Lake Rebecca forms part of our overall belt of about 160 strike kilometres, extending all the way down to Silver Lake's Aldous operation in the south. And of that, about 560 square kilometres is our Lake Rebecca project. And it's sandwiched, as you say, right in between Caruso down to the west, Apollo Consolidated to the east, and Breaker to the south. And we've got the majority of the land position in between all three of those. So it's a great position to be in.
You haven't actually started much work around there on the ground drilling and so forth, but can we expect to see some action in the next couple of months?
Yeah, the ground's still under application. We're going through the heritage process at the moment, and we've reached the pointy end of that, and that's hopefully going to be concluded sometime in the next quarter, we hope. And once that's actually granted, then we're on the ground running straight away, and it's great timing as well, given the corporate activity with Apollo and Ramelius and Gold Road all competing for that asset.
James, so what's the plan then? Once you can get on the ground, have you got a strategy, an execution plan in place?
Yeah, well, we've actually started compiling all the data, and what we're seeing is there's an awful lot of drill holes in the sort of the northwestern area where previous operators have actually been drilling, but in the southern areas, which is technically the northern strike extent of where Breaker is, there's literally no drilling. It's all greenfields kind of territory, which is great to see, especially given that the success of what Breaker's been having, especially along strike of their Lake Road discovery there. And so, yeah, we'll be very much focusing on sort of all those new areas where really no one's been looking, as well as looking at the old areas as well, where maybe the drilling hasn't gone deep enough, different structural interpretation and various aspects that may sort of more modern exploration methods may uncover.
You mentioned more modern exploration methods, and Breaker and Apollo have had great success in areas previously thought of as either barren or just not worth testing. Do you think there's still lots of opportunities in that Eastern Goldfields region?
A huge amount, actually, and we're seeing that at Coroni, which is our southern tenement package, which surrounds the Silver Lake Aldous mine site. Now, back in the 2000s, 2010 even, there's been a lot of RAB drilling. A lot of RAB drilling goes down 50 metres, doesn't really get through sort of the alluvial cover. And what we're seeing, especially at the moment, is in our data analysis is that there is a huge amount of drilling that hasn't really gone further than about sort of 80 or 90 metres. Now, Silver Lake's been having a lot of success on their Aldous property, finding a lot of underground targets with Tank and Tank South. And these things are sitting at sort of 200 metres undercover. So we're looking for those short strike length but very high grade structures that largely would have been missed by those sort of regional RAB line spacings of sort of 400 to 500 metres. We're going back in with RC rigs, drilling a lot more detailed, a lot more closer together, and we're having a bit of success. We put a maiden resource out for our Coroni tenements of 111,000 ounces a few months ago, and that delineated new areas as part of that drilling program that we did. So yeah, we're very, very confident. We've also deployed high detailed magnetics on Coroni as well, 20 and 40 metre spaced drone mag, and the results of that will be coming out fairly soon, but the results we're seeing in the early days at the moment, very, very happy with what that data is pulling up. So yeah, lots to find. The more you drill, the more you find, as Edish says, and we're very excited to get on the ground in 2022.
And so what is the sort of plan for 2022 then? How many metres can we expect to be see drilled, and what's your budget for the year?
Well, at the moment, given we've just completed the $3 million capital raise, we're still in process with that with the entitlements at the moment. It's due to complete soon. Yeah, we're hopeful that we'll have almost sort of back-to-back programs at Coroni, going and drilling Manhattan, sort of 5,000 to 10,000 metres of air core, which is to the south of Breaker, and then moving further south towards Coroni, another 5,000 metres of RC in there as well, and then there'll be programs in New South Wales, and then also follow-up programs over here. So all up, we've yet to actually go and collate the actual total meterage, but we're aiming to spend a good chunk of that sort of $3 million over the next 12 months in our part of the world, in Western Australia and New South Wales.
James, obviously it is an exciting time to be a CEO of a junior explorer, and you're relatively new to the role. Many people will recognise you from your time as an analyst for many years in the scene. How are you experiencing being a CEO? Are you enjoying it?
Very much so, yeah. It's a different set of stresses, of course, and obviously you're running a small business, so this is day-to-day activities. There's a lot more going on behind the scenes than just the drilling alone. And also, sort of one of the things that I've highlighted is that you're a management team. You know, you've got to manage not just people here. You've got to manage drill rigs. You've got to manage budgets, as well as teams in New South Wales and joint ventures. So there's a lot going on behind the wheels, and there's a lot of wheels spinning to get those results out. So yeah, the successes though, when they come, yeah, very much an exciting time if you can generate that kind of success that we've been having. You know, getting resources out. We'll get the applications on Lake Rebecca done. We'll our JVs up north with Superior Gold and Sandfire. There's a lot of meetings, but yeah, the ultimate goal is to generate value for shareholders, and that's what we're here for. And hopefully I can draw on some of that experience from being an analyst of the rights and wrongs that we learned and saw over the years with small companies, and try to avoid those pitfalls.
Well, it looks like you've certainly made a good start to that journey. Best of luck with the drilling at Coroni and Lake Rebecca later, hopefully early in the new year there. And perhaps you can join us again in a couple of months. You can tell us a little bit more about the Superior Gold and Sandfire JVs, and also what's happening in New South Wales.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Don.